how's it going? It's That Nerd Ryan here, and today for the Chronological Rewatch, we're going to be talking about Captain Marvel. And I need some light power right now. There we go. That was not scripted. I literally just realized I forgot to turn off the light, and I thought that would be funny. Or turn on the light, and I thought that would be funny. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Captain Marvel. So release-wise, this is like the 20th movie released. But chronologically, this is the second movie, third installment. We already covered Captain America the First Avenger and the Peggy Carter one-shot. So how we're doing this series is everything's in order. Everything gets its separate video, so when we get into Phase 4 with the TV series, each episode gets its separate video, ranking, everything like that. So, Captain Marvel. I do also want to say something that I believe will contradict what I say in the first two videos, but I kind of re-thought through and everything, and we're not going to go at this with a lens that we've never seen the MCU before. I said that with Captain America the First Avenger, and I said that with Agent Carter, but there's a lot of stuff that in this chronological rewatch, and I have a feeling like when we get to like Avengers and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot of payoffs that we don't catch, or that we didn't catch one time through, and then we'll catch again. Like this one, I caught a lot of payoff for future movies and setup. So like, just a really quick example that's the most obvious one is Nick Fury losing an eye. If you go into it with the lens of, you know, Captain Marvel being the third movie ever and you haven't seen anything else, you might not get the whole eye thing, because there is like a fake out with it that I didn't catch before. There's actually a lot of things in this movie that I didn't catch, and there's a lot of really cool things. Mind you, there are also bad things with the movie. I do want to also talk about the controversy of it. I'm not trying to, you know, like stir anything. This movie's 4 or 5 years old or whatever, 6 years old maybe. I don't remember when it came out. But yeah, there's a controversy when it came out that was very like anti-men girl power. This movie is not. A lot of the stuff that people were taking as that, there's like 2 scenes where it's like that, which one of them was probably the worst scene in the movie, and not because of like the message it was trying to send, but just how poorly it was written. But there, like, everybody always points at the one scene where it shows her falling and getting back up. If you really pay attention, the context is more about 1, Carol in general, and 2, humanity, not just female, because they say specifically in it, you're a human, you're weak. They don't say you're a woman, you're weak. They say you're a human. And her getting up after that, it's just that humanity can get back up, or at least that's what I took out of it. And I'm not doing that to be like social justice warrior. I'm just saying in context. I rewatched that scene twice. I did one as the as people call it. Don't think I'm calling people that hate this movie this, but the neckbeard way of, oh, this is an anti-man movie, to the human movie, and both times it was more like about her being human. And I don't mean the human way as in like neckbeards aren't human, but I'm saying the human way as in like how I felt that scene was intended to be. So the 2 other scenes, there's one where they're talking about how like Yanrog, who's the main villain, which I'll talk about that gave this movie points for the casting in this, I will say. But how he's like kind of controlling and manipulating her, and they're kind of using that as like a man being like, you know, the abusive controller of this woman. I also did not feel that was what that was intended to be, and people were putting it at that. Because I mean, you can see this with a bunch of characters that's the same thing, and it's looked over. This is just because people were trying to find flaws. I felt like, especially her final fight with Yanrog, that like lasted one punch. I thought that was executed very well. Of like, it showed her at the beginning when she was being held back and being able to get beaten by Yanrog, to her literally one punching him because she has no limits now. And that is the point of Captain Marvel. She's basically a Saiyan. I'm just saying that because I beat Kakarot like literally 5 minutes ago. So the review for that's coming out next Friday. Gotta do Blue Beetle this week. But yeah, she's basically a Saiyan that has no limits. The other one, which was a scene that really, I sat there and I was like, this was just poorly written. And it's right after Carol finds out that she's Carol and is like kind of having a breakdown about everything, and Monica Rambeau and Nick Fury and I think Talos are all talking to her, and like it's just, the dialogue is very clunky and very badly delivered, but I felt like the rest of the movie was pretty good. Obviously this takes place in the 90s. It's supposed to be the actual Secret Invasion, which I was happy to watch this after finishing Secret Invasion because it's kind of cool to catch things. Like, they mentioned, or there's a part where, I'm sorry, I said Monica Rambeau earlier, it's Maria Rambeau. Monica is a little girl at this point, she's now a full adult in the MCU, but she says to Gaia, never change your eyes, and I'm pretty sure Gaia had the same color eyes that she has in Secret Invasion, and then like stuff like that, little stuff that ties into the current MCU and the MCU at the time, I thought was very nice and a good touch. Another thing that I thought was very good with this movie was the chemistry of Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson as Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. They had a really good chemistry. I know it's because they worked in a bunch of movies together beforehand, but like they really felt like a good, I want to say, buddy cop duo almost. Which also, it was great to see Coulson in this again. It was a good callback to have him in there. I also thought that something that was cool that I never caught was, I was actually sitting at the beginning of the movie, and then when they were calling her Veers, I was like, huh, it's Carol Danvers. If you take out the Carol Dan, Veers is the rest of it. And I never caught it's because her dog tag gets destroyed in the blast, and all that's left is Veers. I thought that was very cool that that was a thing, and a tie-in. Another thing that I want to praise this movie on was, I was thinking about this towards the end. So characteristically, or usually, Jude Law is portrayed as the good guy, or he plays good guy roles. So like Dumbledore, Watson, a bunch of other like heroic roles. Like he's, I think, supposed to be a hero in Skeleton Crew, and stuff like that. And he's the villain. Ben Mendelsohn usually portrays the villain. He's Krennic. He's the guy from The Dark Knight Rises. I can't think of what it is, but usually he portrays a villain, and he's actually the good guy in it. And the whole twist is that the Skrulls are the good guys, and the Kree are the villains. So you get the whole sense that, oh yeah, these are the head Kree guy is a trusted actor that's usually good, so the Kree are good. The head Skrull guy is usually played by somebody who's bad, so he's obviously bad. So the first time watching this movie in that like mindset is very awesome for a twist. Obviously rewatching it kind of ruins it, but I never thought of that until like critically thinking of this movie, and that's a very cool idea. I do also feel it does kind of have like that Marvel feel that they started slipping into in phase 3 and 4 of it kind of always feels like the same movie. But what was kind of nice was she did not have a villain, as this being her origin story. She didn't have a villain that had the same exact powers as her. I feel we might see that in the Marvels, but I thought it was kind of cool that literally she's kind of just fighting an army. I mean, at the end, the Accusers with Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy show up, and she has to blow up one of their ships and destroy all the missiles and everything to send them away. We also get, I believe his name is Krag from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, who is technically a Kree. That is another thing that kind of bothered me with this movie, but also I think the reason why they did this was so it wasn't suspicious that Carol was human and not Kree, but not all Kree are blue. We have Kree of every color, which, not like a race thing, but that is kind of hard to keep of, okay, which one, like, which person is Kree and which isn't. So, like, technically, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy at the beginning of the movie is a Kree. That's something you wouldn't know unless you watch this movie because he's not blue. Yanrog is a Kree, even though he's a white man. But yeah, so like it's easier to tell the Skrulls because they're all green lizard people. But yeah. So, in the end, I am going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. I will say the one scene that I was complaining about gave it like -5 points, but the other positives of like casting and everything like that gave it some points back. So I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's That Nerd Ryan.